and thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to be looking at this BuzzFeed article, which asks, how much of a suburban black kid were you? The less checks, the better, to be honest. Alright, Pedro, we need you to calm down. I realize you're a junior staff writer, but maybe this will be a good learning experience. So we have a child, because, he's clearly suburban for some reason. So check everything you've experienced. Well, let's see how much of a suburban black kid I am, even though I grew up in the country, kind of, and I'm white. So, have I ever heard the question, why do you use a horse brush when you were trying to get your 360 waves poppin'? I can't say I've ever done any such thing, nor been asked such a question. Been accused of stealing something at a house party. I don't go to many house parties, and I don't think I've ever been accused of stealing anything from them. Been forced by your parents to befriend the only black kid in the neighborhood. Okay, so you're befriending yourself, or you mean there are two black kids in the neighborhood? Not being able to understand some black culture references because you didn't experience them. Apparently I'll have that one because I haven't ever experienced a black culture reference. I don't think most people experience references. And at the same time, I'm sure that most people don't get references a lot of the times, regardless of their race. I don't get some of the Bernie references, but I'm white. Is that, mean I'm less white? Forgot to lotion in the morning, and then had to be ashy all day because no one had any at school. Apparently ashy is a thing. I had to Google this, and it means your skin's dry. So, I do have problems with dry skin, but I don't know why. This is a particular thing blacks think is just theirs. Met a friend's parent and found out they, you mean he or she, was racist. So is the implication here that only black kids can have friends, I presume, who are not black, who are racist? Are you telling me a person in general has never met someone's friend's parents and decided they were racist unless you were a black suburban kid? This is an explicitly black suburban thing? No, I disagree. But yes, I have plenty of friends whose parents are racist. So, moving on. Having someone say they're just as dark as you after they spent a couple days out in the sun. Well, depending on how black you are, you saw my last video, the one girl was Korean, and when I tan, I'm darker than her. So yes, I suppose someone could say they're just as dark as me after they spend a couple days out in the sun, because I'm not very dark. Having people freely touching and grabbing your hair. As a little kid, I enjoyed having a buzz cut, and people had no problem coming up and saying, I wish I had a watermelon, while rubbing the top of my head. So yes, people do that freely when they see my hair is bald, almost. Struggling to find a salon that can do your hair. You mean they can give you a proper haircut? I've never actually had a problem getting a haircut ever, because I don't care about my hair. Being called an Oreo because you're not really black. Thanks for reinforcing colorism, BuzzFeed. Hearing someone say they're blacker than you. Yeah, people do that all the time. Lots of people are blacker than me because I'm white, because color is a thing, but race isn't. Anyway. Being the go-to person for inquiries when a new rap album or song came out. What is this, 1985? Is Eminem not a thing yet? Do you not have friends who are into the rap scene who are not black? I know a lot of white guys that like rap, and white girls. I don't understand this one. Dealt with the assumption that you're good at any and all sports. I know people who think that I would have been very good at wrestling because I was a very large child. The same thing with football. So yes, I have dealt with the assumption that I'd be good at any sports. Been consulted to explain and or demonstrate new dance crazes. Not really. The Melbourne Shuffle and stuff, I've explained to a few people that it's the same as 30 other dances that came before it. But, that's not really what this thing is asking, so. Had someone ask you how your hair got so long over the weekend? This doesn't really sound like a particularly black problem, and it doesn't sound like a problem I've ever heard anyone having. Well, I take that back. I did have one friend in high school who had that condition that actually did make his hair grow very fast all over his face. So I have had a white guy been asked that question. but I don't know that I've ever seen very many black people with that particular trait. Notice someone dial up their slang a couple notches to talk to you. Did this thing just do it on purpose? I guess so. I had a teacher assume that you didn't have much parental guidance. Yes. And I had a lot of friends who were delinquents, and none of them were black. Had someone marvel at how your hair reacts to water. No. Most people I know understand how water and hair work. Dealt with the assumption that you had a huge crush on the only other black person in school. I don't even know where this is coming from. BuzzFeed, why are you being so colorist and presuming that all black people would naturally go through these things? It seems like you're forgetting that a lot of suburban areas are more black than others, in the sense that there are more black people living in those areas, such that white people are not the only people there. Are you like in some magical land where most people are white? Like, I don't get it. But anyway, here's Wonderwall. No, back to the quiz. Felt everyone stare at you when you learned about slavery in class. You know slavery happened to a lot of people, right? Like the Chinese with the whole railroad thing 150 years ago in America's history. Black people were not the only slaves in America. And black people were not the only slaves, like, everywhere. I mean, white people were slaves too. Just get over it. Got way more cautious than your friends about typical suburban mischief. What? Had someone say, you sound white because you don't use slang regularly. I've had people say that I have a voice for radio because of the way I speak, but I presume that's kind of the same. I mean, I am white, so I do sound white. Been followed around by the mall security when you were just hanging out with your friends. Yes, mall cops are dicks. And I'm white, and from the country. Been typecast as the only black character on a show at recess and or lunch. You know, I can't say I've ever had that problem. Almost passed out when you heard the way your friends spoke to their parents. Yes, I had a lot of disrespectful friends, none of whom were black. Almost caught the whooping of a lifetime when you tried to talk to your parents the way you've heard your friends talk to theirs. No, because I respected my parents. And also my parents weren't into, like, spanking and stuff. They didn't believe in hitting children. So even if I had spoken to them in an inappropriate way, I don't think they would have done anything. But besides that, they were my parents. They're the ones paying for where I live. I'm not going to talk to them that way. And even when I was 5, I kind of understood this, that I should be generally nice to them. Been questioned as to why you don't use sunscreen. Yes, again, I'm white, I'm kind of pale, and people wonder all the time, aren't you afraid of getting cancer? Yes, I suppose perhaps I am, but I'm not so worried about it that I'm going to spend time out of my day putting on sunscreen. Something has to kill me. Might as well be something that I get while I'm doing something I enjoy, I guess. Been surrounded at a dance party because everyone just knew you were a professional dancer. No. Had to pile on the seasoning for dinner at a friend's place. Not really, because I just kind of eat plain stuff if I feel like it. I don't care if things are spicy or not in general, but I have had friends who have parents that cook very bland, so I do use more salt and pepper occasionally than some people do. Felt a constant pressure from your peers to represent your entire race rather than just yourself. Gee, it's funny how things turn around so fast. But even if we go back to the 90s, I think I could probably find pretty easily examples of people acting in a way that represents white people very well. But yes, I feel a constant pressure of sorts to represent an entire group of people, a race if you will.
You're fucking a white male! So? You're a white man!
Because I feel that I should hold myself to the high standards that I expect everyone else to follow.
I don't know if you're noticing a theme. Patriarchy. Shut the fuck up!
So as a fellow human, yes, I feel that I should not be an asshole.
Excellent. 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 Extreme. Excellent. Excellent.
So I'm clicking that one. Show me my results. I'm 13 out of 30. I've dealt with a fair amount of suburban black kids' struggles. Well, I'm a white kid from the more rural area of my state, so I doubt that. But that's for sure, it says. That's for sure. Be thankful that you were surrounded by some semi-respectful peers. Some, yes, and some of my peers were dickheads. I mean, this is just the way things work. I could share my results to Facebook. In fact, let's have a little fun with that. Oh great, now everybody's going to know who I am, because nobody actually does yet, right? I'm a bicycle. Hey guys, did you know that I faced a lot of black problems as a kid? Go ahead and take this one. I'm sure you'll have a lot of fun. Need more BuzzFeed like this in your life? No. Facebook conversations. First person says, okay, but y'all out here not using sunscreen? Because use the damn sunscreen. Is this like a... I mean, it looks like a black girl, but it sounds like some people I'm probably related to. Okay, but are y'all out here not using sunscreen? 'Cause use the damn sunscreen, son. Don't make me go back there and beat you behind the moonshine still. Anyway. What about the looks you get from people when you use sunscreen? Maybe don't be so self-conscious? Wow, 2 of 30, lol. And you're black, and I'm not. 11 and 30. And you actually look very African, and I got more than you. Mikey here, a white guy, taking a selfie with his phone in a mirror. 7 of 30. Met a friend's parent and found out they were racist. Sadly, still happens. Didn't I say that? I might have said that. But you're white. Your gift of observation is on point today. And then the next person, today I learned white people can't meet racists. So much for that colorism being a problem, BuzzFeed, if you're just going to keep fucking advertising it to everyone. Oh wow. Can you pass this tricky Pokemon spelling test? Let's see if it's the same format. Yes, BuzzFeed is predictable. Number 1. Can you spell the name of this powerful Pokemon? It is Gyarados. I'm so glad I took time out of my day to do this. What is the name of this Pokemon? Well, which one? Do you mean the little guy in the pouch, or do you mean the big guy out there? But it's, Kangaskhan. How do you spell this Pokemon's name? Rattata, I think? Nope, it says I am wrong. I'm just having fun with this. I don't really care how they're spelled. There's pictures. See BuzzFeed? There's pictures of all the important things you could be using your platform for. Let's see what else is in the sidebar here. Some guy argues that Disney's Mulan was a liberal propaganda. I can't read today, in other news. There are no more cited articles over here, but this thing is dumb also. I don't think anybody cares if Mulan was a liberal or a conservative. They only care that she broke gender roles, and then, you know, fucking killed a bunch of people because she was a fucking warrior. I think that's what most people remember her for. Not so much the politics, but instead, you know, that frickin' story that goes right along with it. Let's check out this dude in a fedora. This is what we know about the man who shot 6 people, presumably. 6 Baton Rouge police officers. Okay, what do you know? They're telling us about this guy that nobody needs to know anything else about. Forget making these people famous, BuzzFeed. You're not doing yourself any favors. What percent Starbucks addict are you? I'm none. How many times a week do you visit Starbucks? There isn't even one around here, so I go to them exactly 0 times a week, and I have done so for the past as many years as they've been around. Wait, is that really the only question on this one? BuzzFeed, you are so lazy. Letting this junior writer, you call this a writing thing? Maybe I have to pick one. Alright, let's say 1. Oh, and then there's more stuff. Why do you do this, BuzzFeed? And how many times a day do you stop by? I just told you I only go like once a week. I don't even go once a week. Once is all. Do my local baristas know me by name? No. I don't think there are any local baristas out here in the countryside. Bartenders maybe, but not baristas. And do you know all of your local baristas by name? No. And do they know your go-to Starbucks order? Even when I go to the bar, I don't order the same thing all the time, and I tend to only drink beer. But I do drink Stroh's more often than not. I guess that is my go-to. Oh, I should have I changed it up a lot. I can't even change it. Okay, well, that's cool. BuzzFeed wants this stuff in stone. Are you adventurous in trying new things on the menu? No, BuzzFeed. I don't make out with or stick my dick in rolls, okay? I don't use coffee as lube. I am not adventurous. You even put tildes around it. Like, what does that even mean? I'm so tired of this. Over here it says that Ghostbusters is a big hit, but not a big hit. Like, really, BuzzFeed? Are you just going to cover every angle, much like a pop song stays very, obfuscated? You're so vain. You probably think this song is about you. The controversial comedy. It's not controversial, jackass. It's just a stupid fucking movie. Reboot opened with an estimated $46 million at the domestic box office. Well, I'm surprised they got that much, but alright. Look at these people. Tell me what they are doing. Like, where's the famous iconic thing that grabs ghosts? What's all this crap over here? Why don't they have, like, uniforms to like, make them pop out so you can instantly recognize who they are? So when I see 3 guys in the Ghostbusters outfits, I knew who they were. Here I've just got 3 ladies in some clothes, and they look like people on the street. Okay, 4 ladies in clothes. They had one back there washed out. Are they trying to make a joke that you can't see the black people very well when it's dark by putting her behind the light that makes it intentionally hard to be seen? Or maybe that's just a really bad frame. I don't know. Also, why would you do that in your fucking cinematography? Put a bright light facing right at the screen that washes everything out like that. Like, this is just a terrible picture. No wonder this movie didn't do very well. I haven't seen it, and now I really don't want to. I hate bad cinematography. And the last one. These men trained their brains to defeat their worst schizophrenia symptoms. Hey, this is the first BuzzFeed article that doesn't fit in the thing. That's fancy. And even after the voices go quiet, people with schizophrenia struggle to focus and think clearly. Can computerized brain training solve a problem that drugs have not? Well, I don't know. Let's find out what citations they use from which articles. Do they have them down here at the bottom? No. They have exactly 0 citations at the bottom, so let's see what their first few links are. Perhaps they do it that way. Diagnose with that. Okay, they're just teaching you what it is. One Mind Institute is an international mental health research organization funding brain science to improve lives. Neato, that doesn't really tell us what we want to know. Speaks about his experiences in school. Nope, that's also not a study. They tell us about a few things here from people. Yes, we know about neuroplasticity, and most of these training games do not fix any mental disorders. Like, this is already good science that we know. In their first major study, it's even linked to the NCBI at the nih.gov, using neuroplasticity-based auditory training to improve verbal memory in schizophrenia. Objective method: 55 clinically stable schizophrenic subjects were randomly assigned either 50 hours of that or something else. And basically, the conclusions... Yes, I mean, that's exactly what they find in all these studies, and then they find that there's no long-term changes at all, or that they only change long-term one very specific thing. So until there are a great many number more stories, this article here on BuzzFeed does not need to be this long. And we're just going to leave it at that. I'm not reading BuzzFeed anymore. This is stupid. And again, I want to thank you all for tuning in today and joining me on this wonderful adventure that was BuzzFeed. If you got a few dollars extra and you want to buy me a coffee, go ahead and check out my Patreon down below. If you're interested in words for your eyeballs, also check out my blog, link down below. Please leave a comment, like it if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, this has been Reverend JR, signing off.